a complex internet of 339 shell corporations used for allegedly amusing funds unscrupulously to the tune of Rs2,900 large integer has been unearthed by the Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, throughout its probe into such cases over the last 3 years. CBI sources aforementioned the shell corporations were allegedly being employed by the suspects to divert loan funds meant for such that functions, making pretend invoices, and round-tripping of funds to evade taxes and generate black cash. Round-tripping is causing cash to tax havens abroad within the pretext of payments for pretend imports through shell corporations and transferral back that money, showing it as foreign investment. The noticings of the CBI are simply a tip of the iceberg, as these are solely those cases wherever the agency has been ready to find legally tenable proof of cash path, cheating and diversion of funds to cheat the banks. Aforementioned the source is not willing to be named. The murky activities are exposed throughout the CBI probe into varied loan fraud cases involving 28 public sector banks and a personal bank, the source is aforementioned. Besides this, the agency is probing about 200 bank fraud cases involving funds of at least Rs 30,000 crore, they said. The CBI is prosecuting these companies for corruption and scheduled offenses associated with it. In addition, it will also refer these cases to other investigating agencies for action under various laws like the Companies Act, Prevention of Money Laundering Act, Benami Transactions, Prohibition Act, Income Tax Act, etc., the sources said. The agency has not only exposed these shell companies but also gathered enough material which would plug the possibility of them being used for any further operation, they claimed. The sources said it was likely that the shell companies had been used to abet financial crimes by other offenders too, which will be probed by other agencies. The companies are unfold across the country as conjointly the tax haven countries facilitating the transfer of black cash, that makes the investigation even harder, they said. Some necessary cases that are probed by the CBI embrace the one against Century Communication Cluster, that a custom-run MOA channel. In keeping with the figures mentioned within the agency's charge sheets infers, the cluster allegedly committed fraud to the tune of Rs 3,000 crore. It used over 98 shell corporations to allegedly divert bank loans for fitting digital studios in Noida, Mumbai, urban center and alternative locations, the CBI had aforementioned. These companies were allegedly accustomed to divert funds by showing fake equity infusion to the tune of Rs 802 crore. The Kolkata-based shell companies named in the case were allegedly controlled by one Murali Lahoti. 3 chartered accountants have also been charge-sheeted in the case. Zoom Developers faces 14 cases for allegedly swindling bank funds worth Rs 2,600 crore involving a consortium of 26 banks. It allegedly collateralized foreign bank guarantees issued by Indian banks in favor of foreign aggregators. The company is accused of increasing its paid-up capital to Rs 500 crore by round-tripping and routing bank funds to the extent of Rs 460 crore through 6 shell companies. The CBI had registered 2 cases against Jinesh Shah and Anjani Sinha of National Stock Exchange Limited, conjointly called the NSL scam, during which funds to the tune of Rs 342 large integer were allegedly swindled. 9 shell corporations surfaced throughout the probe that were commerce on the exchange platform allegedly while not having possession of the commodities. In a recent case, the agency had found that a dental faculty existed solely on paper, whereas a bank was told that the development was completed and loan funds were pleased for functions aside from that these were issued. In several cases, the CBI found that the businesses had peons, drivers, sanitation staff, personal workers, cooks etc. because the administrators of the shell corporations created by those that divert funds mistreatment them, the sources said. Recently, the center had expressed concern over the operating of shell corporations within the country. Revenue Secretary Hasmukh Adia had aforementioned out of 15 large integer corporations registered within the country, 9 large integer weren't filing any returns and a few among them is also acting as shell corporations.